Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, the quadfecta installment of the PlayStation Plus Premium Show, aka PSP Squared. It is just one of many parts to the Good Morning Guys podcast universe, and we thank you so much, dear joiner, for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we discuss the glorious amount of games found within PlayStation Plus's catalog, along with our unveiling of the remastered version of the 20 for 20. I'm your host today, the Brazilian trophy huntineer and transition Sony pony, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the judge, the jury, and the executioner of every single game offered through streaming services around the globe, Patrick Novosel.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait for this episode today, talking about all these games. 20 games we're talking about today.
Woo!
20!
Yeah, man. Welcome, one and all. If this is your first time joining us, we just have to talk about PlayStation sometimes. And today, we're not talking about one game, 2 games, 3 games. We are talking about 20 games. That's right. The 20 for 20 is upon us, which for each of us was the 10 for 20. But we did it. We each picked games for each other, and we played them for at least 20 minutes. And it's possible that it...
With the games that I picked for you were random. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to cycle through, and whenever the dart hit, that's the game you played. Did you choose that for me, or you're like, I know he's going to hate this game. I'm going to make him play it for 20 minutes.
I did not choose based off your taste at all. Like, I didn't think,
obviously,
like this.
We'll talk about that soon.
Can you just save it? Okay. Save it for later. I kind of chose games that I wanted to hear about, but I didn't really want to play. So, or
you be the guinea pig.
Exactly. But there were a few games actually that I want to play, but they're PS3 stream, and I can't do that here in Brazil for whatever reason. Fix it, PlayStation. Get in there, spin the rotary girders.
Oh, I have no problem with the PS3 streaming over here in America. It's fantastic.
Oh, I have no problem. All right, moving on. Let's get by this. All right, we're gonna go back and forth, kind of just share them in no particular order except maybe the order we played them in.
Yeah,
and then
that's how I got it.
We're gonna share if we are all in, if we're gonna add it to the backlog, or if we abandon it. And you can guess. You could probably guess that there are going to be a number of abandons, given we had just random throwing games at each other order. But you never know. You might have some surprises in there. Yeah. I'm excited. So why don't we start with you, Patrick? And you can also rate them if you'd like out of 10 for the 20 minutes.
I will.
Which is not a reflection of what the game's actual rating is.
It is the official rating. Nope, official rating. Yep.
Put it in Metacritic. 20-minute reviews where we review a game based off of the first 20 minutes. All right.
Yeah. All right.
That sounds really good. I like it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The first game that I played was Dark Cloud. It was a PS2 classic. That I played, and I had to stream it, which was fine. Here in America, we like to stream. So sorry, Brazil. Sorry, all the people that can't play these games, which is outrageous, by the way, if you can't play these games in streaming, because there are some gems in here. Dark Cloud was not. Dark Cloud was not one of those gems.
I was going to guess you abandoned that, didn't you? That's a lump of coal. You're welcome.
This was a JRPG, and for the first 10 minutes, I was just watching a cutscene, and man, it was a cutscene with PS2, so no words. Ooh. It was all reading.
Oh no!
It was JRPG music sounds all through and through, and I'm like, wow, I am just gritting my teeth trying to get to the gameplay. And I got to the gameplay, and I had no idea where I was going. Remember, PS2 did not necessarily use both thumbsticks. So I would just press forward and the camera would correct itself, which was so weird to do that.
Oh, I can't stand that. That was an old way of doing things that I am not a fan of. I'm glad.
And I'm not a fan of JRPGs. So for me to play an old JRPG with these types of graphics, these types of controls, I abandoned this immediately after 20 minutes. I'm like, great, 20 minutes is up. I'm done with this game. And I deleted it off my home. So For JRPG fans, they're probably playing this, probably yelling at me right now. But no, I do not like JRPGs. I'm going to give this a straight up huge 2 out of 10.
Whoa, 2 out of 10. What now? What gives it a 2 instead of a big goose egg? Because I would have, the way you talked about it, I would expect a -5.
It worked.
Oh, okay. It functioned. It breathed.
Yes.
All right. It loaded. It didn't glitch out. Fair enough.
Yeah. No, I did not have to download it. It was streamable. Did not take up my precious hard drive.
All right. So 1 for convenience, 2 for it didn't break. It didn't glitch out. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right.
What about you?
So, first game I played was the Artful Escape.
Oh, okay.
And I bet you can imagine what direction I went with this after 20 minutes.
I don't know. Let's see. What are your thoughts?
Oh, you don't have a guess? You don't want to start a guess?
No. You were going to add this to your backlog. I don't know.
You got it, man.
All
you know
right.
me so well. Adding it to that backlog. What a musically eclectic adventure that happens somewhere between reality and make-believe, starring in my notes I put NW Harry Potter clone, but pretty much it's just a Harry Potter clone. Like, he looks like Harry Potter, just a slightly taller version without a lightning bolt on his forehead. But I just loved the overall feel. Now, I will say that during the folk songy parts, I might have dozed off during the 20 minutes. I might have been slow blinking. But man, when he gets the electric guitar going and gets in his imagination, really cool. So I had enough time to kind of get the intro, run around the forest, go to where there's a concert that's going to be happening, and to explore the town. And then I got home, and then I didn't have time. I ran out of the 20 minutes. But I really enjoyed it. I walked around, talked to people. It's a beautiful game from what I've seen. I'm sure I know from the trailer it gets pretty psychedelic and crazy, and I'm looking forward to it. So that is going in my backlog, and I give it an 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I played this on Xbox Game Pass, and I got all the achievements on it. I played it all the way through.
Yeah,
this game was really fun.
Nice.
Really interesting. Right. Really new 2D side scroller.
It's a different look. I liked it. So how about you? What's your second game?
Second game was Dragon's Lair. This was
classic.
a PS3 streamer that I did. This was a game where it was like hand-drawn cartoon.
Right.
Like it looks like you're watching like a cartoon, show. But you in the cutscenes, things happen. This whole show, the whole game is a cutscene, and you have to get past certain parts. You have to press like left or right or up or down, or you have your sword. So depending on what's happening, you need to go right. Things like that. So my entire vision was towards where I needed to go, and there's like on the bottom left was your directional pad, along with the sword. So my eyes were on that immediate for the entirety of playing this for 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
I had because it was like, it's not like it's a QTE of sorts in today's world where you have like a second or two, maybe 5 seconds to actually figure out what you need to do. I mean, these were split seconds.
Oh yeah. So it's like half a second they give you.
It's not even half a second. It's even faster than that. Like you have to and if you don't click it, you don't click the appropriate button, you die. And then you get respawned back. You respawn back into that same part. And so some of them are like, you have to, it's like 10 moves before you get to the next room. And once you get to the next room, that's it. The game saves. And then if you die, then you start at that point. So the checkpoint system was pretty forgiving, but my goodness, like I wanted to see what was going on in the scene, but my eyes were going to the directional pad. So I had no idea what was going on the screen.
It was like watching a foreign film where all you're doing is reading the bottom and you can't actually look at what's happening. That's
exactly what it is. Sometimes with movies, they stop and you can actually watch. This, you have to be interactive. You have to be on it the entire game. And so I looked online. This game's like an hour long. And after 20 minutes, I was like, you know what? Forget this.
That was going to be my guess too.
I'm totally totally abandoned this game. This game is a 3 out of 10 for me. I know this game has nostalgia for people because they played it in the arcades. No, not in today's standards.
No.
With accessibility options, if they could increase the time where I could choose, so I could actually see what was going on. Like there was like an indicator, an audio indicator, and then give me also some time, because I think there's an audio indicator.
Kind of like American Hero. Jump, duck, jump, duck. Like you have, like just give you left, right, like something to, that would be nice.
I'm good with abandoning this game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That one I knew what I was giving you. I wanted to know how it translated to console. I grew up playing this game in the arcade, and it was a game I loved to hate. Like I would always go to it every time I went to the arcade, except it didn't have any indicators. It would just say it would pretty much have a joystick and buttons, and it would tell you do something. Like,
how did anyone figure out this game?
I don't know.
How many quarters did you
is an enigma.
Playing this?
I only usually did 1 or 2 quarters, and then I'd be like, this game sucks, and then I'd go away.
I couldn't even get past the first thing because I was like, I don't know what to press here. What is happening?
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It was like you're trying to go over a bridge, and there's like tentacles coming up and trying to catch you.
Right,
I died like 10 times. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Whatever. I hate this game.
You're welcome. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get more positive things here. My second game I played was Bugsnax.
Ooh.
And this game, the pokey food that was running around saying its name over and over again was hilarious. Sometimes I had no idea what they were saying, and it took one of the characters in the island to tell me what it was called. I was like, oh, that's what it's called. Okay, that makes sense. This game had like a feel. It's first person. You're walking around trying to catch food bugs, like Bugsnax, snacks that are also bugs. It's like Cloudy with the chance of Meatballs 2 mixed with Pokemon. Like that's if you want to know the content of it, the story, the look. You know, you have a little bit of a mystery. You're trying to find someone. I think I got to the town is how far I got in my 20 minute play. And I enjoyed it. It was like a slightly puzzler, like you had to figure out, make the bugs interact with each other or interact with their surroundings in order to catch them. Hold on one second. My phone is making a bunch of noise.
Okay. All right. So here he comes back. Hello. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So the game was fun. I'm adding it to my backlog, and I'm looking forward to see what this cute game and hero adventure has before it. I will definitely be checking it out. Maybe I'll play it with my kids. It seems like a good one to play with the kids.
Yes, I played with Clark, and we platinumed it together.
Nice. Very nice. So, I think I'll give it an 8 out of 10 also. It was, It was good. It's a little, it felt more PS3 and graphic wise, but overall it's like a cute little game that will be 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
All right. Your third game?
Third game is LocoRoco Remastered. This game was a side-scrolling blob of a game where you have to tilt the
blob of a game.
I don't know. It's like you have to tilt.
Scrolling blob.
It's so weird. It's the controls are weird. Like L1 and R1 were to tilt the screen, and then if you hold in L1 and R1, you jump. Like what kind of why wasn't X jump? Like I don't understand. Like just give me that I couldn't change the controls, but you're just going through the level trying to get to the end of the level, trying to figure out how to eat some strawberries and get some collectibles. Like there wasn't too much to this game. It was a pretty game. The music was phenomenal. Like one of really good sound. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a soundtrack out there for this game that was listened to and bought and things like that. So I would say the sound was probably the best part of this game. There was a lot of singing. Like there was each character, like the main characters has like a small little face, and they like sing along with it too, which was kind of cool. but yeah, I'm not going to play this game. I'm going to abandon this game. I can see if this came out.
It's fair.
This would be a good game like on Vita. If you would kind of like rotate the Vita, do it like that way. I think that'd be kind of cool. But on the PS5, there's other games I'd rather play, so I'm abandoning this one. This one was I give this one a 6 out of 10. I can it's a fun little side scroller.
Okay, all right.
But for 20 minutes, I got what they were trying to do, and that's all I need.
That's fair. I am now remembering, now that you keep the games you're mentioning, I'm like, I went just to the classics catalog and I chose a plethora of older games. This is the first time I played any of these games. Yeah. So this is a good practice. You'll appreciate the games you love and play more than 20 minutes. So this is a good practice for the soul. All right, my next game is Lawn Mowing Simulator.
Okay.
This one I'm definitely abandoning. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm just abandoning this one. Not only was it about like yard work, which is not fun in real life, and even less fun somehow on a video game. It was less satisfying. Like I was able to cut like 1 or 2 yards, and I got done, and I was just like, this is not satisfying like it is when you do it in real life. And it was more dangerous in the game than it was in real life. Like I was running over flowers. I was hitting gates, which I would not have done in real life. I would have been able to control it and not hit it, but it was so sensitive sometimes, or so clunky. This lawnmower was the worst. Ugh. I looked like I was taking like a 10-point turn to get around this flower bed, and it was ridiculous. I think I had a weed whacker I could have used, but I just used the riding lawnmower the whole time, which is probably why I did what I did. It was fine. It was fine, but it was not worth adding to the backlog or going all in on. So I'm abandoning it.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a, I was going to say 4 out of 10, but 3 out of 10. Like it really was frustrating. 3.5. I'm going to go 3.5. 3.5 out of 10. I don't want to shortchange it. It was a decent looking game. It looked like if you have a passion for lawn care and just hanging out, like listening to a podcast, a game where you could just do something else while you're playing the game, which is not how I approach video games, but some people do. This game's for you. So jump in.
Okay.
Mow away, my friends. All right. Your next game, my friend.
My next game is Nelson Tether's Puzzle Agent.
Yes.
This was like a Telltale game.
I'm intrigued about this one.
If you've ever played a Professor Layton game, where it's kind of like you do like a little story, and then there's a puzzle, and then you do a little bit of a story, there's a puzzle. This is what this game was. This game was hilarious. The dialogue was phenomenal. Just know that there were a lot of puzzles. I went through 20 minutes of this game, and I probably went through 6 or 7 puzzles.
Okay,
they are brain
That's a lot
twisters.
Of puzzles in 20 minutes. Yeah.
Some of them are easy. There were a couple brain twisters where I'm like, oh, I see what they're trying to do. Where it's like, find the missing gnome from this picture, and then use this microfilm to figure out which one is missing. And it was backwards. The microfilm was backwards, and it was a negative. So you had to figure out kind of like what colors and what the way the gnomes were positioned to find out which one was missing. So it was kind of cool that way. There were some cool little things like how to get from point A to point B using these kind of items. So the puzzles were fine. I mean, if you love puzzles, this is a great game. I think the comedy with the voiceovers and the writing and the dialogue is going to keep you hooked. The characters that I've met in the game, I met like 5 or 6 characters. They were all very different and funny. But yeah, I thought this, if you're a puzzle lover, this is a great puzzle game. It was on PS3. Nice. Yeah. I would give this game a 7 out of 10. I am not into puzzles. If I was into puzzles, this might be rated higher. But I'm not too much into puzzle games. But this is, I'm abandoning this game, even though it's a 7 out of 10. I'm not. That's fair. I'm not going to play this game. But it was good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean, it is called Puzzle Agent, so
yeah.
I knew there'd be puzzles, but I also knew it was a Telltale-like game, so I was hoping it would be like, well, there's some puzzles, but most of it's conversation.
It was all puzzles, yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's good to know. I'm not so sad that I'm missing out on that, because that one's a PS3 one that I had kept an eye on back in the PS3 days.
Yeah.
But now I'm not buying anything on PS3.
I think the VO, the main character, sounds familiar. I feel like he's like the main guy from Jackbox. While you go to your next game, I'm going to look up and see if that was the guy.
Do it. Find out for us. Give us a pat fact.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Your sound is...
that is more accurate.
Yep. All right. My next game is Wick Hex. This game had promise for me, and I was kind of excited to jump into it. It quickly felt like it was a mix of Hotline Miami and XCOM, with a little bit more of, I don't want to say turn taking, but there was some going back and forth between the enemies making moves, me making moves, as John Wick. I was definitely not good at it. I'd struggled a lot to be John Wick. And oftentimes it felt a little clunky, and I needed it to be more like Hotline Miami, but unfortunately it was more like XCOM. And so while I love XCOM and I enjoy Hotline Miami, I feel like with John Wick, it needs to be more action, smoother. I think if I put some hours into this game, I would get better and it would be enjoyable. But there are just too many other games to play. So this one, I'm going to say, is kind of like with you in Puzzle Agent. Like, it just had an aspect of it that I didn't think matched the character or the ambiance. And I don't want to put the time in it to get better at the game. If I were better, I would probably give it a higher rating, but I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, much like Puzzle Agent. So I'm abandoning it. Sadly, that one's the only one so far that I've abandoned that I'm sad about. And I think of all the other ones, it's the only one I'm sad to abandon. So
yeah, okay.
Did you find out anything about
his name's John Boyd? He was Zane from Back to the Future, the game. He was in BioShock 2 as Augustus Sinclair.
Okay.
I
don't remember either of those characters, but
yeah, he was in Sam
those are still good games.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure games.
That gold chestnut.
Maxie in Soul Calibur 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought he was going to be in other games that I'm familiar with, but no, he was Eric Romer in Siphon Filter. So he hasn't done anything since 2010. So who knows?
All right.
My next game is Raiden 4 Overkill.
Yeah.
This game is a top-down plane shooter where it's just like it's an endless runner and just enemies and tanks and planes are coming at you, and you get power-ups, you get all different kinds of weapons and guns and lasers and things like that. If you've ever played like the 1942 or 1943 for the original Nintendo, this is just like that, except it looks a little bit better. I think this was a PS2 classic. It might have been a PS1 classic because the screen was like a quarter of my TV. So it was one of those things where it was like the screen was like vertical right in the middle, and then it had like a background of the game all the way around.
Yeah,
so
that sounds right.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I played for 20 minutes. Nothing changed in the 3 levels I was in. 5 out of 10. I have nothing else to say about this one.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. All right. What about you?
My next one is My Friend Pedro.
Okay, yeah.
Which has such a bizarre premise. Your friend Pedro is a banana that floats and guides you to take out a gang and mafia members. I have no idea who I am. Like, I just go in. It's pretty much like a platform shooter with a very much what is the game that Nolan North voiced? It was on Xbox. It was one of the first Xbox Live
Shadow
digital
Complex.
games. Yes. So it had that overall feel where you could aim your gun 360 degrees. You had some move sets. It actually was kind of a fun little shooter. You got like dashing ability. You could do like you hold down, I think, R2 to split your guns to shoot both sides of the screen at the same time. And so thankfully it has auto aim when you do that. So the one arm, you only have to aim the one arm, and then the other arm just automatically finds bad guys to shoot. Other than the gameplay, the rest of it was bizarre. Like you're wearing like a ski mask. You have like Lara Croft-esque twin pistols to start, and then you get other guns like gums. You get Bubblicious, and you get Fruit by the Foot, and you get Uzis. You get different weapons to shoot mafia members and take them out. This is too weird for me and a little too violent, lots of language. And I was like, well, I'm down with the gameplay. I'm not down with the premise and the weirdness of you're just doing whatever this banana says. The banana's like, hey, go take out this guy, the butcher, this mafia leader. And that's it. And so this would be fun. You and I would enjoy this if it were a 2-player co-op and nonsensical, kind of like that mafia game we played, the guns and cannolis and
guns, gore, and cannoli.
Yeah, it had that feel to it also. So if there's a co-op version, I'm down. If my friend Pedro, my friends Pedro and Steve, I don't know, they come out with a sequel and it's like that, I'll be down. Otherwise, no, thank you. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10 and abandon it. So,
all right. My next game was called Shatter. I think this was a PS3 game. It could have been PS2, could have been PS4. I mean, this was Brick Breaker, but Brick Breaker to the max. So if you combine Brick Breaker and what was that one game? I can't remember what it is. Where it's kind of like Brick Breaker, where you have a ball and you try to get through all the icons, and you could. It was. Oh, wow. I can't remember it. It was on Xbox. It might be on PlayStation as well. Where you're like, you can be a Helga, you can be like a unicorn, you can be like a construction worker or something like that.
Yes. What is that? I love that game.
So doesn't it start with a P? What is I can't remember. Peggle. Yeah. So if you combined Peggle and Brick Breaker, this is the baby. So
I am in.
It's basically it's like Brick Breaker, where you have like little like icon paddle to hit the balls, but you also have two. You can also like you don't have to wait for the ball to come to you. You can have a vacuum button where it vacuums the ball to you and it hits off, or you can have like a leaf blower kind of thing where it blows the ball back up to the bricks. Each of the bricks have different things they can do. They can blow up, they can do multipliers. And then once you do enough combos in a row, you get like an ultimate kind of thing. So you can just like shoot like machine guns at all these and things like that, among other ultimates. Really cool. They switched it up where it's on the side. It can be, your paddle can be on the bottom. You can throw multiple balls at once you get your ultimate. It was really cool, really chaotic. The gameplay was super, super fun. I played this for 20 minutes and then I played it for another 40 minutes because I was having a good time with this game, a really good time. Will I add to my backlog? No. Am I going to abandon this game? Yes. But for the hour that I played with this game was really, really fun. I highly recommend trying this game out. This game would be great if it was like on my Steam Deck or on the Vita or something like that on the go. This is a great on the go game. Sitting in front of my TV, no, it's not. But it's really, a really, really fun game. This game is an 8 out of 10. I love this game.
Nice. I'm glad you liked it, man. That was one that I picked because just like the Puzzle Agent, I really want to play it. But again, Brazil stinks. But I'm glad that Shatter does not stink.
No, Shatter was the first one where I had a really good time.
Woo! All right.
Yeah. Well, that was 6 games in. All right.
Yeah, 1 out of 6. So you're saying there's a chance.
Hey, there's I said, there's gems. There are gems that are in this catalog.
Yep. That's right. That's
one of them.
The next game I played was Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. One of your favorites.
I played a ton of that.
Faves. Yeah, you did. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm abandoning this game. I'm just gonna say at the outset. So I enjoyed watching Power Rangers as a high school, middle school, high school kid. Me and my friends watched it for like, I think they were like 15-minute episodes, right? Am I remembering that right?
No, they're 30-minute episodes.
Were they 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, we always watched
minutes with commercials.
Okay. We watched a portion of Power Rangers every morning before going to school because usually someone wasn't ready yet, someone was coming late, and so we would switch between Power Rangers and ESPN Sports Center. So we were like constantly hitting that recall button on the remote to go back and forth between these two things, depending on the commercials and such. Yeah. So I did enjoy that as a kid, but I never had like a nostalgic affinity for it, if that makes any sense. I know you and Mark, you guys adore Power Rangers. You have little action figures. You have different things. So I don't have the nostalgia factor. I did start playing this game by playing against you, which was a mistake. I think you took it easy on me. I was hoping it would be like Dragon Ball Fighters, where I could just mash buttons, but I don't feel like it gave me the ability to feel. It was somewhere in the middle between like a more technical fighter like Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And then
when we did
Street
play,
Fighters.
So when we were playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z, you're like, what is happening? But like, are really excited what is happening? Like having fun, exciting. This one, when you're like, I don't know what's happening, but you're like frustrated. It's like, I don't know what's
because I would press 20 buttons and I would just do like a sweep, or I would shoot a laser, and then I would try to repeat it and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, wait, how do I do this? Yeah. With Dragon Ball Fighters, I could just press 20 buttons and all of a sudden I could like blow up the world. Like it just is like you're just that powerful, you know? Exactly. I didn't feel that with Power Rangers. I did try the story, and let me tell you, the Pink Ranger rocked my world. Like she got to the point where she was juggling me for what felt like 5 minutes. I could do nothing. I was pressing all the buttons. I was like, break the juggle, and she just juggled me. I was beating her, and then she came back and she juggled me for at least an entire health bar. And I was like,
I can feel like this
is cheap.
Right now, what you would look like is that TikToker who just like puts his hands up like this. He like takes his glasses off, puts it down, just looks, like
just watches as I just like I'm just flying in the air. She's just kicking me, shooting me. I'm like, where is the easy setting? I need the easy
go
difficulty.
Make some coffee. I'll be back in 5 minutes when you're done.
So that left a bad taste in my mouth. I tried, I pushed it, I hit continue, I went back, I did my full 20 minutes, and I didn't hate it. It wasn't like completely awful, but it did not go over well. There's many other fighting games I'd rather play, so it's abandoned. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 though, because it's Power Rangers and because I know what it's trying to do. But I don't have an affinity for fighting games anyways, outside of button mashing. So if I can't button mash my way to victory, then it's unlikely I'm going to put time into it.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. My next game is Strongbad's cool game for attractive people. Like, what kind of name is this?
It's the worst name ever, but please don't disappoint me. Come on. This is the one that this is the first game on PS3 streaming that I tried to stream at least 20 times and it rejected me every time.
Oh, okay. All right.
On the inside.
So if you have nostalgia for Strongbad, this is a game for you. It felt like an interactive Strongbad show where you're just walking around talking to all the characters. All the characters sound super familiar. I don't know if they got different actors for some of them. It felt like they weren't quite right. Maybe it was just the VO and not having like experience in doing like a video game or something like that. I have no idea what it was, but it felt off a little bit. It was I just walked around, talked to all the people, listened to Strongbad, just get annoyed by everything. And that's all I did for 20 minutes was just walk around, talk to people. And I was done with the 20 minutes. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I do not care. There's not enough. Not enough bringing me in. Like I said, if you have nostalgia for Strongbad, this would be a fun game to jump into. Just like you said, you didn't have nostalgia for the Power Rangers. if you don't, this game wasn't. I mean, I don't even know what the first 20 minutes. I don't even know what the heck I was doing other than talking to people. There was a race that was going to happen, but no one wanted to race. So I just went around, talked to all the characters, and then 20 minutes was up, and I'm like, you know what? I do not care what the rest of this game has. Like it was beautiful. The sound was fine. The voiceovers were great. The visuals were just like the cartoons. I mean, since I don't have nostalgia for it, this game is a 6 out of 10. Like I don't have much more to say about this. But if you have nostalgia, like I recommend this game because it was really well done. It was well done.
Yeah. Good to know. Yeah, I'll still probably when I come hang out at your house the next time I'm in the States, I'm at least going to give it a 20-minute go just to hear the jokes.
It's stream. You can you'll be able to just play it right away. I don't have to download it or anything. So that
and Shatter. I'm definitely going to check out Shatter. when I go to your house. Blast the sound system, get that music going. That makes me a little sad, but I get it. I totally get it. It's, really, like for us in college, for me in college, that was my Seinfeld. It was the online show about nothing. Like, it's just like, I love it, but it makes no sense. Why am I watching this white ghost looking creature with a hat on singing about fake marshmallows and lemonade, like, and mixing the words up? And but I'm intrigued. It's making me laugh. I don't know why.
Yeah.
All right. My next game is Tron Run R. I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Tron Runner?
It sounds like it's Tron. Yeah.
Tron Run.
Is this an endless runner?
It is. It's an endless runner.
So I would say runner. Like, I think the dash R is like code for geek, like, oh, this is how I do it.
Tron Runner. So yeah, it was an endless runner. It was visually very, very modern Tron. I probably would have liked it better if it were old school Tron visuals, a little more muted, a lot more blacks, because the screen was so busy, it hurt my eyes. Like I couldn't, so the game stair steps you into what, you do during the runner. It's not just you run and dodge stuff. You dodge stuff, you jump, you dash, you not crouch. It's not dash. It's like you slide, you can throw your disc. You can wall run, and I think that was the main stuff I learned through the tutorial / first stage. And it all requires, button pressing, dodging at the same time. And it was all cool. And I was looking forward to it because of Tron and because I like endless runners. I've played like side-scrolling endless runners like Bit Trip. I've played up-down ones like Temple Run on a mobile, and there are others I've played over the years. But this one was just too busy. I couldn't, once they taught me all the stuff, I got to like the 4th stage and it amped up. Ooh. And it was like wall run, dash, dive, hit it with a frisbee, dodge the other frisbees of the other guys. And like, I didn't quite always get the mechanics of it. I could power my way through this game probably because it you got checkpoints and it starts you over and whatever. It's a typical endless runner. I'm abandoning it, but it wasn't a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I think it would have been better if it was a little more muted in its colors. It was a little too colorful, and yet the colors were like all the same brightness. So I couldn't always tell what I was supposed to do in time. And you got to have good reaction time with this kind of game. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, right.
Well, no, 6.5. 6.5 out of 10. Right. I take it down a notch. I couldn't decide between 6 and 7, so it gets a 6.5. All right. So next game for you, Patrick.
My next game is about a blob. This was a 2D side-scroller puzzle platformer where you're a blob and your goal is to eat things to get bigger and then get through the level somehow. I do not have any more to say about this game. This game was like, it felt like to be honest, it felt like a mobile game. Like this game would be better suited for mobile. On my big screen going through this, I was bored out of my mind with this game. The sound wasn't any good. The visuals were okay. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just accidentally completing the levels. Like I don't know. I was, this game was not for me. at all. Like I said, this is better suited for like if it was about a Blob is the newest, biggest, trendiest mobile game out there, then I would understand. But on my PS5, I have other games I'd rather play. I don't know when this game came out. I don't know what platform it was on. I did not care PS3. To look it up. So
I actually 100%ed this game and the sequel. I really enjoyed them and found them. Yeah, I found them very. No, it's all good. I found it very cathartic because I would clear a whole level, like eat everything, then get through to the next level. And by the end of the game, spoilers, you eat the universe. Like you eat the solar system. You get so big. And like at one point you're eating Paris, you're eating cities and stuff. Like the whole progression of going from this little pin-sized, blob to world and galaxy eating blob.
Man, that like was really overarching storyline that has me intrigued now. Like
yeah. You might want to play the sequel. The sequel might be a little better for you. And I think it's multiplayer, and I think it'll be like a game you can involve your son. I can't remember exactly, but.
You know what? I'll give that game 20 minutes. I may give About a Blob another 20 minutes just to see because I mean I did poo-poo this game, but I did give it a 6 out of 10. Like I was like, okay, this is okay. I get this. That's fair. Even though I'm bored out of my mind, I didn't know where it was going. Now that you tell me where it's going, I don't like spoilers, but stuff that I don't really care about, and you spoiled like, hey, this is what happens. It's not
really that deep.
Oh, it's not. They know, but getting the progression of doing that does sound interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, because it's kind of like those games, I don't even know what to call them, but like where you can't eat some things until you're big enough. So you have to find all the smaller things in the level. Then you can start eating the bigger things and you get to the point then where you can go to the next stage or whatever. So yeah, it gets really fun when you start eating people who are shooting at you.
That sounds fun.
So yeah. But yeah, I get it. The 20 minutes I don't think is long enough to, and it might have been more fun with like, give Clark the controller and let him run around and eat stuff.
I might.
So yeah, give it.
What about you?
Give
What's
a sequel
your ninth game or 8th game?
All right. This next one, my friend, is a fever dream. You're a fish and you shoot laser beams. It's called Ace of Seafood. So picture Ace Combat mixed with Finding Nemo, except you're finding Nemo and then you're obliterating him with your laser guns.
Is this a 3D? Like what kind of game is this?
It's a 3D, yep. It's like Ace Combat. Like you have the circle with the the lines that tell you the plane when you're tipping to the right or left, and you just have open range of the sea, and you're just taking over the ocean, reef by reef. Coral by coral. So the premise of this game is first you pick your fish species or whatever. So I picked a salmon because it supposedly is very durable and very strong. You had a number that you could pick from, and then you just go to territories and you fight sea creatures. The first one I went to, I fought 2 king crabs. And they were shooting lasers at me. I was shooting lasers at them.
Of course.
You have a charge attack. You can charge as a salmon, obviously.
Sometimes I don't understand how games are made. Like, what who thought about this one?
I don't know, but it was. I will say, and I need to share a little more because my progression in this game was like a roller coaster. Because I went in like super excited. I was like, this is going to be bizarre, and it's going to be whatever. I started going downhill on it while I was playing it, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'm taking over these coral reefs. Sometimes I'm dying, sometimes I'm not. The controls are very much like PS 2.5. Like, it's kind of clunky. But then there's a few things that I discovered as I played. One, as you beat an opponent, you can breed that opponent at your coral area. And so you can build a fish army to fight alongside you. This is where my interest came back because by the end of the 20 minutes, I had a salmon, a sardine, a shrimp, a minnow, a grouper, a crab. Like I had an army of sea creatures and we were just attacking and annihilating everything.
Interesting.
And I took over a bucket. I took over a refrigerator. I took over an oven. All of these things are underwater. They're like little territories that you take over, and you slowly work your way through the map. It has a nice little button that you press to like makes a little arrow through the ocean that shows you exactly where to go to the next territory to take over. This was something else. This was an experience that I recommend. Just to experience. Okay. This is not something. So this is kind of like, I'm trying to think, one of the games where you're like, oh shit, this is kind of this. I don't think it's quite on the level of Shatter. You gave Shatter an 8 out of 10, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. But it's so bizarre and just fever dreamy with the fish lasers that I think you just have to experience it for the 20 minutes. You'll definitely be done after 20 minutes because it's not really in depth. But at least experiencing the shooting of the lasers, the swimming around the ocean, the making the army, taking over. It's crazy.
What was this game called?
Ace of Seafood.
Ace of Seafood. All right.
Yeah, I guess it's just a play on words of Ace Combat, the jet game where you fly jets and dog fights and stuff. It's like dog fighting with fish. So fish fighting. Cool. Whatever. So yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. I am abandoning it, but I recommend that people just play it for 20 minutes. Just try it out and see what you think.
Okay.
So, all right.
All right. Next game is number 9 on my list. This is the 9th out of 10 games. And this game is Tokyo Jungle on PS3. So this game, you start off, the tutorial for this game it tells you all about what this game can entail. You are in a post-apocalyptic world where there's only animals. There's no humans. So you're trying to become like you're trying to survive as an animal. It is like a 2.5D kind of side scroller. It's 3D. You can go up and down with the foreground and the background. So you start off with, and the tutorial tells you like, okay, as a deer, you need to avoid predators and to eat, to continue to eat. So like I avoided predators. There's like a hyena was there, gonna attack me if they noticed me or whatever. So I had to go through like tall brush and go through, eat some things, and then it would take me to another character. Another character was a dog, and I had to fight against a hyena where I would use my claws to, just my paws to claw out a hyena. I could also sneak up on the hyena and kill it. And then after I kill it, I can also eat it to increase my health and decrease my hunger level. So I did that. And if you come across multiple hyenas, you have to be very stealthy. Otherwise, all the hyenas will come after you. So you can also hide as a dog in the brush and come up behind a dog, kind of like what like enemies do in games where they like go in their motions back and forth, and you have to wait for them to go to turn around and put their back towards you, and then you can attack. So you can do that. There were like bunnies that you were really fast, so you really had to sneak up on those, and you can attack those, eat them. So I did that, and then they also show like, hey, you have a love interest, but to actually be able to mate, you have to increase your status. In your status, you have to get more kills. You have to, because I think you start out like a basic status or whatever, and your next status is veteran status. So I had to kill like 5 hyenas, and I had to eat a bunnies or something like that. And then once I was someone that this dog wanted to mate with, I went up to the dog, and we went to like back to my den. And we were able to mate,
like some kind of dating sim
and procreate. So there's no dialogue in this because it's all animals,
right? Yeah.
It's not like Bugsnax where they have voices or whatever. But it's all animals, all sound, all animal sounds. Go back to my den. We procreate. We end up having puppies, and that's the whole point of the game, is to continue on in generations and generations, and then. As you do more, you unlock more animals. So at the start, you only have a deer and a dog, like a Pomeranian is the dog that you can start off.
Oh my gosh,
with.
That's what you are. Yeah. That is not what I envisioned when you said you were taking out hyenas.
I think the tutorial was you were like a bloodhound or something like that, or something like not a bloodhound. It might have been a golden retriever or something like that. But as you start the story, you get a deer and you get a Pomeranian. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the goal is to procreate and to, I guess, unlock more animals, unlock, a higher tiered animals. I think the goal is to become a lion at some point. I don't know how all that works. Again, I played this. The goal was to play this for 20 minutes. And I played this for over an hour and a half.
Snap.
Yes. Yeah. I was so intrigued with the gameplay mechanic of having to go through the level. And there's like parts of the level where you had to they're like flags and you had to make it your territory. And once you make it your territory, you are the owner of that area. And so that's another gameplay mechanic that was really cool. This game was super simple, but it was super interesting to find out, how the game all works, how to have your territory, procreate, how to increase your level. This game was fun. There's things where it's either fight, flee, or feed. And so basically that's kind of what it is. And you have to because if you die, then your generation, you're done. Like you can't, you're done. You have to, go game over, and then you go back to the beginning and choose a different animal. Really cool. I absolutely was very intrigued with this game because I played it for no more than 20 minutes. This is a PS3 game. If we always talk about remakes of games, remasters of games, they need to remaster this or remake it. All right. Because this game was so much fun, and to be behind, it was PS3, so you could only stream it, which is so unfortunate for you because I want you to try this game. Yeah. Anybody that has the streaming capabilities should definitely try this game because this was one of those gems that is on the service.
Well, I actually bought it for 99 cents back in the day, and I have it on my PS3. I just never played it. So,
oh my gosh, dude, this game is so interesting. I'm not sure, because I didn't unlock any animals yet in the time that I played. So I played a little slow. I did my thing, and so I don't know I haven't done any walkthroughs or anything, but this is one of those games where I'm going to go back and play, and I'm not adding this to my backlog. I am all in on this.
Oh, snap. All in on Tokyo Jungle. Mm-hmm, all right. Mm-hmm.
This right now for the first hour and 45 minutes, it's an 8 out of 10.
Nice. All right. Yeah. That's what I like to hear. That one was was a surprise a little bit. I mean, I'd heard decent things about it. But yeah, that's cool to hear, man. And I'm definitely gonna boot up that PS3. It's in my bedroom because Mindy uses it to watch Netflix, but it'll be easy for me to go in there and just check it out. So you've intrigued me to dust that baby off and run around the jungle.
Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah. All right. My next game is actually the last game I played, but I don't want to end on a downer, so I'm not going to save this one to the end.
All right. I'll end on a downer.
Oh,
spoilers.
This one's called Gabbuchi, I guess.
Okay. Is that like a food?
And it kinda, yeah. You're not a food, but you like to eat. And it's a puzzle platformer with graphics that are somewhere between Nintendo and Super Nintendo, like really simple. And you pretty much, you eat everything, but it's always based off your color. So you're in a room full of blocks, and it's not different foods like strawberries and it's nothing elaborate. It's just pretty much this little monster eats squares and little floaty things and that are food. I don't know. But anyways, pretty much it's all about changing your color. So you got a platform that's made of red and white, and you just have to change your color at the right time and only eat the right one so you can stair step your way to the heart, which is the way you end the level. I got about 6 minutes into the game and I was done. And I was like, crap, I gotta play this another 13 minutes. So I got to some levels where I just kept dying. I couldn't time the color change, or my main problem is I'd pretty much eat everything. Because there's no, when you jump the same height at the same speed every time. So if you have 3 blocks going up and you're like, well, I only want to eat the first 2, There's no way to like just lightly press the button to do the 2 and then move on. So there's no finesse to this game. You just you press the button, you go left, right. That's it. And I there was probably 5-minute span where I just died on the same level over and over and over again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 20 minutes. Where are you? Come faster. Please. I need to leave. I'm done with this game. So I abandoned it. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. I appreciate puzzlers. That's 1 point. I appreciate platformers. That's 2 points. It's all crap. Like, forget about it. Gabuchi is out.
All right.
I am not about the Gabuchi life, so I abandoned it.
Okay.
All right.
What's
your Debbie Downer?
Last game that I played
was
another stupid JRPG.
Yes, that's right. I know what this is.
JRPGs. And this one was Wild Arms 3. I don't care. Baby. I know you're like, I don't know if you're gonna know what's going on. I was like, it's a JRPG. No one knows what's going on. So it starts up and it does same old JRPG, no dialogue, all reading, and it's just, oh my gosh, I was so like, it starts off and like, this is supposed to be like exciting me. Like, I'm sure there's people out there like, oh cool, Wild Arms 3, I can't wait to hear what he thinks. You don't care what I think because this game is absolute trash. So you get through the opening cutscene and then like all of a sudden 4 random, very different characters come up on the screen and you can choose which 4 you can pick. And so I was like, oh, maybe this is different because I can choose my destiny here. So I picked this guy who had like double pistols and I was like, all right, that's the guy I kind of want to play. I don't want swords. I don't want magic. Let me get pistols and maybe I'll like this game. Then it gets me into this top down, like Egyptian area. Cause this guy, he's like a treasure hunter. And these other guys, I don't know what they were, but I played the treasure hunter. And so I'm like, okay, so what do I do? Like, there's no indicators of what to do. And so I was just pressing buttons, trying to figure it out. And L1 and R1 were to rotate the screen. So it's like a kind of like 3/4 top down look to the game and to rotate it to figure out where you need to go. Cause there's like kind of like a puzzle element to it. I was like, okay, figure that out. Let me go on to the next, once I got inside the pyramid, I was able to figure out a little bit more what's going on. Make 2 steps, and it's like it throws me into a battle, and I'm like, "What?" Like there was no enemies on screen, and it was just like this big, huge brain blob that was coming after me, and I was like, "What is this? Like, where am I?" So I pressed X to start my action, pressed X to select my action, and then I pressed X to select the enemy that I was going to hit. Again, there's one enemy, and I didn't care what any of the other selections were. I just pressed X, X, X. He shot the enemy, defeated him, and then I'm like, I get back into the pyramid, and I'm walking around again. A few steps later, enemy encounter, and I'm like, all right. So there's 2 brain blobs. I shoot one, kill him. The second guy does his attack, and then he hits me, and then it's my turn to do an attack, and then I kill him or kill this brain blob. And then I'm like, all right, back in. So I'm doing all these other things. And then it's like this huge like exclamation point comes up on the screen. It's like, if you press circle, you can skip the enemy encounter. I was like, that's it. That's all I need. All right. So I can skip it. And then I skip it. And then it reduces like my mana meter. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't want
to. No.
So
Magic always comes at a price. Magic always comes at a price, Patrick.
I was like, this game sucks. And I turned it off, deleted it because I had downloaded it. And I told you, and you were like, no, you have to do it.
20
You have
minutes.
to do 20 minutes. And so I played again, like you said, 6 minutes. I wanted to just throw my PS5 out the window because this game was awful. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to restart it. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to give the old college try, the 20 minutes that we have for the PSPP 20 for 20. And nothing changed. Nothing changed for the extra 15 minutes that I played. And I was like, this game is absolute trash. Like, I don't know who would like this game. None of it is fun. And then I came across, once I defeated all those enemies, got to the next room, there were like 4 people talking about something that it was like an ancient artifact or something like that. And I was like, I don't care what any of you have to say because I have to read what you have to say. It's like, so and then so I did all this, and it was like I set an alarm, and right when it was like, tell me about what this ancient artifact was, my alarm went off, and I was like, delete. I don't care what anything. I don't care about this ancient thing.
I am out.
Yeah, this game it's JRPG. Reading, the enemy encounters were terrible. The graphics were PS2 graphics, so another thing that was awful. It did not look pleasing to the eyes. This game does not even get a rating. I'm not giving this one.
It's NR, not rated.
Yeah, I'm going to petition to have this removed from the PSP collection. This game was not for me in any stretch of the imagination.
All right, so here's a little context. So, I played and loved the original Wild Arms back in the day when I played a lot of RPGs. I don't know how it compares or what it looks like. The old one was ugly, so I imagine the third one's not that much better. But I'm sorry and not sorry at the same time that I made you play this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It did make me appreciate all the good games.
There you go. See, it made you appreciate Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was like a tale of two games for you. Well, the same happened for me.
Yeah.
I went except I went in a different order, so we would be a little more balanced. Uh-huh. My second to last game I played, I'm all in on this game. And this game is called Indivisible.
Okay.
Now, again, I'm going to say that having watched RRR kind of prepared me for it.
Oh.
A little bit, culturally speaking.
Okay.
Because this is not a JRPG, it's an IRPG, Indian role-playing game.
What?
Like, it's a side-scroller, it's a role-playing game, but it's set in Indian culture. So you have spirit stuff, also real-life stuff. It has a very typical RPG beginning where you're playing as a girl who is training with her father to become a powerful warrior. She has an attitude. Her father is very gruff. He's trying to make her stronger. She doesn't like all the things that he does, but she also loves him, and she wants to find out the mystery of what happened to her mother, who had died prior to the game, and if she could have her mother's weapon, which is an axe. So they very much treat this axe almost like God of War, where he's got the axe and it has that meaning like it belonged to a family member. But they have a fight. He leaves. And then while you're returning to the village and while you're platforming around, again, it's a platformer. So you have buttons to jump off walls. You have buttons to dash. You have those kind of things. While you're returning back, you notice your quaint little town is on fire, and you get back there and some dude is there with a huge sword and he's murdered your father. Your father says a few words to you and says he's sorry. He should have told you about her mom. He should have told the character about her mom and this, that, and the other. And then he dies. And so you fight the murderer of your father, and you find out that he was sent there by the unvoted upon ruler, like pretty much the dictator of this realm. It's and you fight this character and you beat them, and they're like tired, and the way the fighting mechanics work are, I've never played anything like it. So it's not active in terms of like moving around and fighting each other like a fighting game, but it's very much a fighting game in the sense that you have to press different button combinations. And I discovered through playing it, I got up to, skipping ahead towards the end of the 20 minutes. I was able to have 3 characters in my party, and each character is represented by your 4 face buttons. So like one character is represented by triangle, one's represented by circle, and one square. And you have cooldowns for their basic attacks. And then also with the same button, you defend when enemies attack you. But then each character also has like alternate moves. Like with one guy, if you press down and square, you can power up his attack. And if you just keep doing that and defend, the next time you hit, you could like one-shot an enemy or something. Another character, if you press a certain button combination, they debuff or kind of like poison the enemy, and it spreads to other enemies and does other things. And
wait, so are you talking about Indivisible, or are you talking about Dead Cells? Like this game sounds like a Dead Cells kind of game. Is it like a
Well,
Metroidvania or is it just left to right?
So far from what I've explored, it is up down. Like there is some Metroidvania stuff because skipping ahead, I leave the village. I defeat. So here's where things get a little weird, and it gets very JRPG, or in this case, Indian IRPG. You defeat the guy who killed your dad, and he says he won't give up. He says that he'll come back with a bigger army with this Lord Ramakam, Ding Dong, whatever his name is, and they will destroy her. And all of a sudden, she sucks him into her forehead, like, and he goes into her forehead, and it disappears. And she's like, "What? Where did he go?" And all of a sudden, she meditates, goes into her mind, and he is trapped in her mind and is now her companion. He is stuck with her, and he cannot escape her. And so he's now a party member, and you use him to fight other enemies. And so
what
he's
a way
like,
to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so later on, you meet this girl whose house was destroyed by the army, who you're pursuing to then get to this Lord Ramakam, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember his name. Lord Ramakam is what I'm going to call him. You're chasing him down to fight him because he's the real reason you're dead and your town's destroyed. You stumble on this girl. She's like, my hut got destroyed. And after the conversation, like, hey, you want to be friends? Sure, let's be friends. And you suck her into your forehead after you say, let's be friends. So there's some form of like
true friendship.
Yeah, true friendship. Let me just this vacuum suck you into my face, my forehead. And she's now she's in your party. And so she became, I think, the circle button. Like he was the triangle, your main character. I don't remember her name. The main character, she's square. And at some point, you're running through the forest, pursuing the army. You find your mom's axe, and that's where I stopped. My 20 minutes was up. I had other things going on. I did want to keep playing, and I am all in. I am going to go back to this game. It is not getting deleted. I want to find out what's happening in the story. I want to learn more of the mechanics because eventually I'm going to have 4 characters, and there's going to be it's always active. It's got a look of taking turns, but you don't take turns. You just have cooldowns of your moves and your characters that each play a part. So yeah, and one thing that's kind of spoilery, but it shows it in the opening cutscene is it's building up to this. Pretty much you through the power of friendship, you're going to take down this Lord Ramakam. And when you have enough people in your head and you become good enough friends, she has like an alt look to her where she becomes this giant blue lady and you fight like large giant creatures. It's got an animation very much like Dragon Ball Z, but I liked it. It's so different than what I've ever played. So I'm all in. I give it early on an 8 out of 10, but I feel like if the story's good enough, if the gameplay continues to develop, this could be a 9 or even a 10 out of 10. So yeah.
Ooh, the art animation looks really nice.
Yeah, it's very nice art animation, and it's pretty consistent throughout. And it on Metacritic, I think it got in the 80s. I think it's actually a pretty well reviewed game overall. I know IGN gave it an 8 or a 9, I think, and I had never heard of this game, so I'm all in. I'm going to check it out.
Nice.
I think with that covers all of our 20 for 20.
Yeah,
10 each. We did it. We're going to do this again sometime for sure. Just throw some games at each other. I promise you that I will give you a better lineup, even though I'm super glad you at least had one all-in game, just like I did. And you had one, maybe 2 backlog games and the rest abandons. But we both ended up having around the same balance.
It's good.
So, yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Well, I think that about does it for the PSP Squared show for today. We covered a lot of games. Hopefully you heard about a few that you will check out and others that you will avoid and not even touch with a 10-foot pole unless you want to suffer like Patrick did. But yeah, you can find us on Twitter, Discord, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We play games. Click the links, linktr.com/thegmgpod. Of course, you can also rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Spotify. Help us reach new joiners through stars, exclamation marks, and feedback. Literally, if you like, at 929 GMG Guys, give us a call, leave a voicemail if you like. Alrighty then, Pat, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.
PlayStation